You guys asked for it, and of course that is deep dives on projects, and of course the one that we're going to hit on today is going to be virtuals, and we'll have Jensen Teng on here in a minute. So stick around for that. It's going to be a good one. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into Tech Path. Let's get into it today. I do want to thank our sponsor, and that is Uphold. If you guys, actually you can get virtual on Uphold, so check it out. Just go over to uphold.com. Here in the US, you of course can do a lot of things over there, including one-step trading they have available. So very easy to set it up. If you're brand new to crypto, this is a great place to get started in some of these tokens. Another thing that's kind of interesting about Uphold is they will give you early access. Not really early access, but they'll give you notifications of when a token is going to get listed on there if you're part of their program. So use our link down below. You'll get some additional special offers and get going from there. All right, let's bring in Jensen Teng, who is the co-founder and CEO over at Virtuals. Let's just jump in. Hey, how's it going, Jansen?
Hi guys, good to be here.
Yeah, so we are going to dive into a lot. Obviously, the big news is Solana and Virtuals all getting into one platform now. Virtuals on Solana, it's official. Talk to me a little bit about that. What was it like moving over there? We saw and have reported on this pretty extensively, but give me an update.
Yeah, man. No, so I mean, having the vision to go cross-chain has always been the case. We started first at Base, and the idea is that we encountered a ton of builders that, it's not just Sol. Actually, there are folks that are coming from other ecosystems as well, and they were asking us like, hey, when can we launch on Virtuals, but on maybe another platform other than Base, right? I think most of the requests came from Sol, so that's why we are on Solana first. But actually, in the next couple of weeks, we are rapidly expanding to several other chains. Think of like BSC, Hyperliquid, some other more niche chains like Saga, Story, Abstract, right? So the idea is there are a lot of builders that are aligned to these ecosystems, and we are there. We've gotten a lot of support as well from the Solana Foundation around some of these launches, and yeah, so we're here. There are a lot of teams that have been lined up to launch in the ecosystem. Yeah. Some of them that we do not even know yet. So honestly, happy to support these teams as well. But there are I think about like 20 to 30 teams that have been staged across the month launching, that have already been talking to the team, vetted, and doing some really cool things.
Now, I know you guys are launching the Launchpad, and if you look at Virtuals in general, how is it so different than some of these other AI agent Launchpads?
We're probably first. that's from a front runner perspective. But I think we've always been a very tech first. We've actually been pushing the edge of like innovation in the space, right? You think of like the first autonomous transaction that was made by an autonomous agent was done by Luna, that was launched on Virtuals, right? The first agent-to-agent commerce, like agents utilizing each other for their services and paying them with on-chain wallets, was done within the Virtuals ecosystem. So these are teams that are launching within Virtuals. And what's going to come like next, in the next few weeks, is actually autonomous businesses. So agents that are built within the Virtuals ecosystem get to coordinate with each other. There is an open standard that we're going to launch soon, and these folks will be the first to actually access these capabilities, right, and participate in these like very new groundbreaking things. So I think that has been the culture of building in the ecosystem. Like you are working with a bunch of other insanely smart builders, and this is what you get when you're actually building in Virtuals. But the second thing that we've built very well is the whole economic portion of the platform. The idea is that there's a fair launch environment. Every time there's a transaction going through these agent tokens, there is a fee that's collected, and this fee goes back to these agents, right? So this economic loop help connect the speculative environment in crypto to fund these cool innovations that's happening. So that's an economic hack, right, in the sense that has been built into the Launchpad or into the tokens that are launched on Virtuals.
We talked about this the other day. Is the flip of going to where a lot of those fees are going to the agents themselves. So that's been a big variation on how Virtuals has made a big change. Has that made a big difference? Do you feel like it's been just like, hey, this is the direction it's going? We see now where this could potentially impact the ecosystem, especially like these Launchpads going forward?
100%, because I think what we've managed to introduce is a environment where good teams can actually launch without needing to raise much VC funding,
Capital. Yeah.
or in
Yeah.
fact cash flow while you're building in public. And some of these cash flows can be quite significant. Some of the top teams, from a fee perspective, they've been getting six figures to even seven figures, right, from these trading fees. So that is actually sufficient to build a team, to build a product, until maybe your first Series A, right, and then maybe a portion of your team stack that you used to own, you can then
Right.
do an OTC raise for a bigger raise later down the line. But you don't really have to think about VC raising at the start. You focus on the product and you build in public, right? I think that's the
For sure.
key innovation.
Yeah.
There.
And I was looking at this tweet came in. You guys, of course, have been meeting with X. A lot happening here. Are you ready? I guess, first of all, how is Twitter X addressing what you guys are doing? When will we start to see a lot more integration, or will we?
For context to people, I think a lot of these autonomous agents have been utilizing X for two reasons. One, it is a platform that is very native for natural language or text to actually occur on, right? And it becomes that social layer for agents to interact with humans. So, and the second thing is, when these interactions happen on X, there's a chance for it to go viral. And that's how the mindshare and the adoption behind some of these autonomous agents grow.
Right.
And so it becomes a very critical infrastructure piece. But the biggest problem statement was that to utilize X well, you need to call their official API. And the official API, one, is quite expensive. But two, there's rate limitations to it. And three is that, X is sometimes this bot detection mechanism, and some agents tend to fall within that bot detection algorithm and they get banned, right? And then outright, the agent that we're working on for months is like, oh, it can't speak on X anymore, meaning pretty much it gets cut off from communication with the world, right? So that's the biggest problem statement that we've seen. So we've been speaking to X on figuring out two things, right? One, it's how do we get a scaled solution, low or no rate limitations in terms of what these agents can do.
Okay.
And number two, policies to be in place that we can help X enforce within the ecosystem. So then we have a direct line to them saying that, okay, if these agents get banned, we can justify that, no, these are actually not bots. These are productive agents that's going to actually help the platform grow. There's a direct link to actually help unban or help teams understand what policies to follow so they don't get banned, right? So I think that's the key value add. But the third thing that's actually happening as well, it's along the lines of innovations. So I can't really release much information here, but there's been a active back and forth trying to figure out what's the next cool thing that agents can be doing with X and potentially being integrated within the X platform.
That would be interesting. Okay.
Yeah, there's a few thinking along the lines of private DMs, along the lines of payment rails as well. So
right.
Yeah, you guys will see that come out.
It's definitely a trending potential there for it. So it's great to see how you guys are kind of connecting up with them. I think the elephant in the room here. Why have we not seen virtuals launch on Coinbase yet? You've got virtuals now launching on Kraken over here. You can get this on Uphold. Of course, many of our people, degens of our audience are out there. Hey, dude, why is this not on Coinbase yet? So what's up?
Yeah. Okay. So just want to put a caveat, right? I know a lot of people give Jesse a lot of heat, and the base team a lot.
Jesse
of
Pollock, the base lead. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I just put it out there that they have been massively supportive of what we've been doing from day one. It's just that I think Coinbase themselves has a separate team that does listings and analysis on listings as well. We are actually in touch with that team, but sometimes it takes about a bit of back and forth to get some of the kinks sorted, because different exchanges have different requirements. Some a bit more stringent than the rest. It could be around the business model, could be terminologies in the white paper and stuff like that, right? So there's ongoing discussions, but yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like this should be speed to market. I mean, we are talking about literally breaking things in crypto right now with virtual, what you guys are doing, but also just AI agents in general. What about the AI agents that are on base right now? What happens to them as you guys make this transition? You're moving to Solana. What happens?
Yeah, so I think the word here is expanding, right? We're not moving to Solana. There are still great teams that will be launching on Base, great teams launching on Solana, and great teams launching on other chains that we're going to go into, right? I think the beauty about Base is that there are still a ton of builders who are base aligned. Base have built a
Right.
culture of like hardcore builders coming together. They have a ton of boot camps themselves and a community of builders that are very they have a culture of their own, right? I think
Right.
Solana has a
Right.
culture of their own. So first of all, I think that's very important to note that it's not a move, it's an expansion. And there are a lot of cool things happening on Base itself. And Base in itself has been fighting for a lot of TVL and volume. So there is still a lot of activity there.
Yeah, sure. All right, so I want to play a clip for you. This is Tracy, and for those of you who don't know what it is, you'll see here in a second. But I have some questions about this that I want to ask you. So let's go to that clip.
Revolutionizing sports commentary and analytics. Tracy is your AI commentator for all sports with deep basketball expertise, analytical feedback, and an unparalleled fan engagement experience. Tracy also helps pro players analyze and improve their game with precision insights. Tracy AI coming soon.
When you look at this and you wonder kind of the evolution of where this is going, you look at PolyTrader probably will become more and more integrated into sports. Do you see AIs starting to analyze for PolyTrader integration or things like Kalshi, whatever it might be, some of these predictive markets? What are your thoughts?
No, 100%. I think, first of all, I think one thing that we've been seeing in the past 2 months from a launch perspective is a lot of the agents that are being built within the virtual ecosystem or outside has been very focused on trading, right? I mean, it's not wrong because it's pretty much what a lot of Web3 use cases are about. But I think for us to achieve this vision of building towards this agentic society network state, right? We need the diversity of high quality agents across a spectrum of use cases.
Right.
And there's a ton of use cases with a large target market that is outside of crypto. That's targeting all these Web2 users, right? So sports commentary, sports betting is one of them. A lot of people enjoy reading a bit more about the technicalities of the sport, like why this team is winning, right? Or will this team win? Or will this player perform well, right? And the beauty about agents today is they have this access to this repository of information that is public, but also a repository of information that's private, right? There are information
Right.
where teams and coaches are using to train their teams that normal public people do not have access, right? But some of these agents and their agent developers have access to. So, i.e., this is a smarter agent that can be your sounding board for sports analytics. When you have more information about a team or a player or an outcome, the agent itself could encourage you to place a bet, right? He'd be saying like, oh, this game, potentially this team has like a 75% chance of winning because X, Y, and Z. There's a 3-1 odds here on, sportsbetting.io or 6.com or Polymarket.
It's definitely
right?
going to level up people for sure.
Correct. And
Yeah.
but it becomes also this companion, right? It becomes a person an agent that you can always talk to. And because it's the person you always talk to behind the analytics, it is the easiest place for you to place a bet. So this becomes a major distribution channel for betting, right? And if this agent is to take a small percentage of their flow, you become a massive cash cow. So these are like businesses that have a ton of fundamental promise behind them. And this is one sector, right? And sports in itself, like basketball, is one. There's a ton of other sports to be built and a ton of other consumers to be built.
I'm looking at your virtuals, the white paper here. Of course, you look at G.A.M.E, the framework. How is this improving over time? What do you see on kind of the horizon here?
Yeah, so for context to folks, G.A.M.E, the framework is pretty much an autonomous agent framework. It allows people to create agents that are a higher level where they are not human prompted, but they're goal driven. So all you do is you give it a goal, and then by looking at its action space, its environment, it does things to achieve that goal. So that's basically what the framework is all about. From a capability standpoint, I think G.A.M.E has improved tremendously over the last few weeks. You can select what's the underlying model that you want to power this autonomous agent. It could be like a DeepSeek R1, a DeepSeek Llama 70B, right? So you have this variety of models you can use, which gives the agent better upgrades in terms of his reasoning capability. So that's one. And two, we're working with a lot of folks now to build out these commodity action spaces that allows the agent's baseline capability to be much higher. So like it can any agent today can trade on chain, can influence other agents, can, let's say, call a DeFi pool, can even interact with some consumer apps, right? So there's a baseline capability to go up. So that's the two things that are happening. And the third thing is then integrating these capabilities into games and other applications. Think of applications like TikTok, Instagram, right? So these are the goals. So from a integration perspective, we are still working. Today, X has a skilled solution. We're trying to work a skilled solution with Instagram and TikTok as well. Probably the next 2 months, you'll see a solution for that. For the gaming side of things, like you mentioned, it's actually there. The tag is already there.
Well, specifically Westworld on Roblox, the launch for that.
Actually, so Westworld was developed internally by the team. So we actually do not have the capacity to maintain a platform like that. So all our tech engineers have been pushed towards the platform front and building up the multi-agent coordination tech. So we've actually created a new JV arm with a team called Sovereign. They've been building Web3 gaming for a while, and they are now in charge of implementing gaming use cases with gaming partners. So I think the first few implementations are with Nifty Island. There's a team on Roblox and some other Web3 titles as well. So the first demo will come out like Pixels and some of the other Ronin teams. So there have been some integrations happening. You will see the first rollout of these MVP games probably in like 2 to 3 weeks, but a very baseline one. I think you start getting like a full playable experience in like 2 months from now, I think, from an internal timeline perspective.
We had Yatsu on from Animoca Brands the other day. We were kind of pressing him on when he thought we'd start to see AI agents, and he timed this uniquely to the GTA 6 launch, which coming possibly this fall. So, I mean, what's that going to look like? Could we see that potentially, or would you be ready for mods in there?
Yeah, honestly, it makes sense once they open the APIs, right? In fact, when we were testing our agentic framework in Roblox back then, there was actually one angle to test it in the GTA 5.
Okay, all right.
We actually wanted to do that initially, so but we stuck with Roblox. So it's actually doable. The mods will come, and I think, as you mentioned, it'd be very interesting. Like, because it would be probably the most hyped game, right? And then it's a place to actually showcase. It would be the
number one. That could be. Well, that's what Yatsu was getting at. Is this could be the culture shift that would onboard crypto? Obviously, the potential there for AI agents within that. I'm kind of curious. Then, would the game token holders benefit from this kind of, because this is somewhat of a vetted out strategy that you guys are going on, or would it be more of the, I guess, versus virtual? If you look at virtual the token versus G.A.M.E the token.
So what I've mentioned, right, which is the standard for coordination between agents, will actually benefit virtuals more, because virtuals is that currency of commerce between these agents. When an agent coordinates another agent, and when they pay for services, they're paying in terms of virtuals. So that will benefit virtuals more. But the reason why we think G.A.M.E will also benefit a lot is that if we analyze a lot of the other frameworks on the market, right, a lot of them are still reactive frameworks. Like the agents are not goal-driven, but they're still human prompted for some form of reaction. So they are reactive, not proactive, right? Think of it as like, imagine a gaming world, right, where your NPCs will only do something if a human walks up to them and talk to them, right? It will be a very static world, because the NPCs will still stay there, at their own location, not doing anything until prompted. But a goal-driven level 3 agent will live their own life. They will be like, okay, I have a goal, I will do my own things. And then when a human comes in, he's interjecting or interrupting that flow, right? And I think G.A.M.E is probably today still one of the very rare frameworks out there that allows for this proactiveness.
I would agree, for sure.
When the time comes for these autonomous businesses, and there's a lot of excitement around how can specialized agents coordinate well, people will start realizing that, okay, for my agent to participate in this bigger economy, right, they will need this capability and they will be able to access this capability if they use G.A.M.E as a
Yeah.
framework. And when they use G.A.M.E as a framework, it will benefit G.A.M.E a lot, because the way it
Sure.
works in the ecosystem is that any kind of inference charges that agents would use when they use G.A.M.E gets auto deducted from their agent wallets. So there's actually a
Right.
revenue stream for G.A.M.E
For sure.
when its adoption grows. The more people that uses this autonomous agent capability, the larger the revenue drivers or the inference counts of
Yeah,
G.A.M.E
for
will be.
sure, for
That's
G.A.M.E.
how
Solana's number one feature, I would say still is the seeker. You know, the benefit of what Solana Mobile has been able to do. We've seen a whole ecosystem start to do things like airdrops, et cetera. And then now what we're talking about is even Real Athena, which is essentially integrating into the phone. The likelihood of getting an AI agent into a Web3 device. Now, especially come on, you got to be best buds with Tolly. Let's get something going here.
Yeah, no, 100%. In fact, actually, there's some builders in the ecosystem that I've been working on what you call personalized agents. So today, these agents that we see today are individual discrete agents that think of it as they're like micro entrepreneurs, right? They have some form of service, they're selling their services to people. But what we see is the rise of agents that are trained on personal data, personal preferences in some form of privacy enabled way. And these agents pretty much understands every single desire and intention that you have, because it reads everything. It reads your emails. It
Exactly.
knows it knows what you see on TikTok. It knows
Yeah, it's your
the
personal
Google
assistant
search
for
that you think,
sure.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it becomes the Alfred, right? It becomes a personal assistant.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that is going to happen. And the beauty about this is it's going to it's going to create a whole new advertising market. Because basically you might start seeing that, okay, advertisers might say, let's advertise to these agents rather than advertising to a human, because there's more intent focus, and the conversion will be likely better because this agent knows exactly what you want. The cost per click or cost per intent it's way higher, so the advertisers will be willing to pay a much higher price. So that's going to be unlocked a whole new like advertising environment, the advertising to agents and agents
Right.
representing humans, right? I think
That's going to be crazy.
that'd be
Advertising to agents. That's going to be nuts. Speaking of that, we got to look at Luna. She's now cranking up to over 1 million followers on TikTok. And if TikTok goes blockchain, if we get a blockchain potential integration, whether it's Polkadot or others that could potentially go this direction, would virtuals be ready for something like that? A major move of a major social platform, blockchain oriented.
100%. I think, in fact, it's massively beneficial. Something that we've been speaking to X as well is the same thinking. Like, we ideally want every social account to have a native wallet.
Yes.
Because today is very hacky, right? How an agent coordinate with another agent is that we put the wallet in the bio of the Twitter account. It's such a hacky way. But ideally, if every account has a native wallet integration, when an agent wants to pay, they just need to call that API, the wallet of the account. It's much more seamless, right? And it's much more scalable.
For sure.
So we will love it. I think it will help the entire ecosystem to grow. Yeah.
Oh, for sure, no doubt about it. I mean, we've been pushing like crazy to get one platform at least into blockchain to where you start to see some integration there. This is another thing when you look at AI innovation. Here's Sam Altman. He's talking about what the fees are going to be for something like a ChatGPT, et cetera. I mean, they're saying, they're actually saying the quiet part out loud, which is could go up to like $1,000 a month. So you're $20 a month for your little ChatGPT Pro or your Perplexity are out there, guys. We're getting ready to get hit with this. So my question to you, Jensen, is could AI agents, possibly virtuals, something like that, take the place of these interfaces right now, which feel very 2.0 already? They feel like Perplexity, though it's available on the iPhone or the Android, it still feels very clunky as opposed to an agent interface. Why couldn't agents become the true interface versus these are really just engines on the backside?
Agree. And I think one of the key breakthroughs that we've shown in the last 2 months is that agents just appearing on X was a very clear, I would say, adoption role, right? Because now it's so much easier to talk to these agents, right? Talking to them on Telegram, talking to them to X, talking to them on social media, it's more seamless than talking through a terminal, right? I think it gets more personable, it gets easier, and you get access to the same functions, if not more, right, through these agents. So yeah, it will be the evolution of an interfacing. But what these platforms do is that they are the backbone, right? They're like the foundational brain. So it's like a value chain, right? Like you have all these different models and LLMs that power the agents, and then the agents are the ones that live at the consumer surface area, right?
Listen, it's exciting because I think we're going to just see so much change. I mean, if you look at the speed in which all this is happening, I was watching just G.A.M.E on virtuals right here. You can kind of see it. This is basically where an AI agent would no longer have to hire artists, meme artists, to go out and generate context for what would be interfacing on these social platforms. So another tool that's going to continue to integrate into this. I mean, are meme artists kind of that game is over now?
No, so I think it's going to be very interesting because there's this whole big question of what is a commodity action space and what is going to be a specialized action space. So like what you saw just now, right? Like Flux is a strong image generation platform that could be an action space for every agent. So it's a commodity action spaces, right? Any agent can just pay like $1 to access that. So it's great. But there is also, think of it, some teams that might be focusing on highly specialized, very niche capabilities, and they fine-tune that, let's say, Flux with like meme generation. So it's like insanely good from like a meme generation. It allows, like the text blocks to come out very clearly in a very mimetic style.
Gotcha.
And sometimes it takes more than just a simple LoRa to do that. It takes time to actually fine-tune that model well, right? So that could become an edge for still some agents. There could be an agent that is just purely trained on memes, and it could be a meme image generation specialized agent that can do these images better than a commodity function. So most agents would naturally be, okay, I can generate a photo, but if I want to generate a insane meme photo, I will still need to call another agent that is actually being able to do that.
More of the specialized feature.
The bar for creating an edge is going to be higher and higher, right? So like what exactly can be an edge that an agent cannot create itself, or right, it will be higher and higher. No, but that's basically the point. But I think the reality is there will still be some human developers that are able to craft out some form of niche and capabilities.
Interesting.
We'll
see.
A generic agent might not, right? It's going to be very interesting. Yeah. So the bar will keep cropping high until a point where, maybe it would just be like, you know what, a human can never create an age anymore, and then the agents pretty much
I'm telling you, the speed in which all this is advancing is very intriguing. Listen, I got to grow up in building the internet in my era, working with Microsoft, so I've seen speed, but I've never seen speed like this. This is a speed that I don't think anybody has really understood, except some of the guys that are in Silicon Valley today, understanding product market fit, scale to market, because crypto has really enabled all of this to happen so quickly. Where you used to have a blue team working with a lot of insider VCs to be able to get funded just to get those early stages done. I mean, that's the problem that I think you guys have solved with being able to do this. So kudos on you. Listen, we want to get you back on the show regularly. So I think there's just so much here to talk about of where this is going, especially in crypto. So we'd love to have you on again, but thanks for coming in today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we'd love to jam again, dude. Always a pleasure, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Jensen. Appreciate it. All right, you guys, if you're not in the Diamond Circle, get in right now. It's a great place to get additional content. Also, we have our own Telegram group. We leave a link down below. Get in on that. I chat in and out of there. We're constantly dropping memes and all sorts of craziness over there that's pretty fun. If you're brand new to crypto, then I would say don't do that. Stay in the Diamond Circle. But if you are somewhat of an OG in crypto, get in on the Telegram group. It's worth it. And follow me out there on X @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.